Hey there. Welcome back to From Trash to Treasure, where we take old discarded objects and transform them into something beautiful and functional. Today we're going to show you this old, rusty shipping container. Watch what happens when a shipping container meets a tiny house makeover. Don't miss this transformation. Stay tuned until the end of the video. Before we get started, if you love innovative upcycles, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on any of our exciting projects. Also, please remember to give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our content. Alright, let's get to it. When we first discovered this container, it was sitting abandoned in a junkyard, surrounded by broken machines and mountains of scrap metal. It had clearly been sitting there for a long time, gathering rust and grime, and we weren't quite sure if it would be suitable for our project. But seeing past its grimy exterior, we saw potential. We brought the container back to our workshop, excited to see what we could do with it. The container was in rough shape and needed some serious TLC before we could turn it into a habitable space. The first order of business was to pressure wash the container to remove any loose rust, dirt, and grime. Once it was clean, we sanded down the surface to expose fresh metal, ready for our new paint job. The container was looking better already, but it still needed some major repairs before we could start building inside. So we set about fixing the walls and the roof. We needed to make sure that the container was structurally sound and safe to live in. We did this by welding steel frames for window and door placements, and cut down plywood boards to the exact size of the container's dimensions. We screwed the plywood into place around the door and window frames. These sections were then filled with sawdust mortars, which help seal any air leaks. Once the openings were sealed, we applied several coats of paint, both inside and out, and we left the container looking brand new. Now that we had a blank slate to work with, we could start designing the interior. Our main goal was to create a bright, airy space that would feel like a real home rather than a cramped, dark container. To achieve this, we knew we needed to bring in as much natural light as possible. So we cut out a full-length sliding glass door at the back of the container, allowing us to open up the entire wall and create a seamless indoor-outdoor flow. We also added 3 large windows on each side of the container, making the interior feel spacious and inviting. But having windows on such a small space meant that we had to think carefully about our layout. We didn't want the room to feel too cluttered, so we decided to use vertical blinds to maximize the amount of natural light coming through the windows without sacrificing privacy. As for the flooring, we wanted to keep things simple and functional. We used waterproof laminate flooring throughout the container, which was easy to install and maintain. To add some warmth and texture to the space, we placed a large rug in the center of the room, defining the different areas within the open floor plan. But perhaps the most important aspect of the container design was the layout. We wanted to make the most of the limited space without sacrificing functionality. We started by creating a kitchen area at the front of the container. We installed minimalist shelving above a small counter, providing ample storage space for all of our kitchen essentials. We also added a compact 2-burner stove and a sink, completing the cozy kitchen. On one side of the container, we created a bathroom with a compost toilet and a shower. The shower was a particularly tight fit, but we managed to squeeze in a full-size shower stall with a sleek glass door. Opposite the kitchen, we designed a living area with a comfortable couch and a coffee table, providing the perfect spot to relax and unwind after a long day. Above the couch, we installed a large TV, bringing some entertainment to the small space. At the back of the container, we created a bedroom area with a loft-style bed, complete with built-in shelves and drawers on either side. The bed was the perfect focal point for the room, adding a touch of romance to the otherwise industrial space. And because the container was so tall, we were able to add a second loft above the bed for additional storage space. The stairs leading up to the lofts were not only functional, but also added an interesting design element to the room, creating a sense of depth and dimension. Overall, the interior of the container was both cozy and functional, proving that you don't need a lot of space to have a comfortable home. But what about the outside of the container? We wanted to create a welcoming exterior that would blend in with any surroundings. We started by painting the container in a soft, neutral color, giving it a fresh, modern look. But to make the container feel more like a home, we needed to add some landscaping, planted trees and shrubs around the container, softening its harsh edges and creating a sense of privacy. We also added a small wooden deck outside the sliding glass door, providing the perfect spot to relax and enjoy the outdoors. The deck was small, but we made the most of it by adding comfortable seating and a small dining table. It was the perfect place to have breakfast in the morning or dinner in the evening, surrounded by the beauty of nature. And finally, we added a few finishing touches to the exterior, such as lanterns and outdoor lighting, which gave the container a warm, inviting glow at night. Overall, the exterior of the container was just as inviting as the interior, making it the perfect place to call home. One of the most important aspects of converting a shipping container into a livable space is ensuring that it has adequate electricity and plumbing. We tackle these systems next. We knew that we would need electricity for lighting, appliances, and heating and cooling. And we wanted to make sure that the container was off-grid and self-sufficient. We installed a solar panel system on the roof of the container, complete with high-quality solar panels, an inverter, and a battery system. The solar panels were mounted on adjustable stands, allowing us to angle them towards the sun for maximum efficiency. The inverter converted the DC power from the solar panels to a C power that could be used by the appliances and electronics. And the battery system stored the energy from the solar panels so that we could use it even when the sun was unshining. We also installed LED lighting throughout the container, including recessed lighting in the ceiling and pendant lights over the kitchen and dining areas. For heating and cooling, we installed a mini split heat pump system, which was efficient and quiet. The system had multiple indoor units, one in the kitchen area and one in the bedroom area, allowing us to control the temperature in each room separately. As for plumbing, we knew that we would need a water tank and a wastewater holding tank. We installed a 20-gallon water tank in the kitchen area, which was connected to the sink and the shower. For the wastewater, we installed a 25-gallon holding tank under the floor, which was connected to the shower and the toilet. We also added a gray water system, which allowed us to use the water from the shower and sink for watering the plants in the garden. Overall, the electricity and plumbing systems were essential in making the container a comfortable and functional home. We made sure to plan them carefully so that they were hidden and unobtrusive, allowing the design and the aesthetics of the container to take center stage. So here we are, the final product. A shipping container that was once destined for the scrap heap has been transformed into a beautiful, functional home. From the bright, airy interior to the cozy exterior, this container is the perfect blend of rustic charm and modern convenience. We hope you've enjoyed this journey with us. If you're feeling inspired, why not try upcycling an old container yourself? With a little creativity and effort, you can turn something discarded into a treasure. Just remember to subscribe so you never miss an exciting episode. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to From Trash to Treasure. Today, we are bringing you an abandoned shipping container that was literally left out to rust in the pouring rain. But now, it's totally transformed into a tiny home that is super slick. It has everything you need and it looks absolutely amazing. So let us see how they did it, and then stick around because at the end of the video, we'll be sharing how you can turn any junk into a treasure too. First, we got a close-up of the rusty mess. This thing has been sitting out in the rain for a while and it's really rough. There were holes in it, there were parts where the paint was completely chipped off, and it just looked terrible. But we knew that under all this grime and dirt was a perfectly good piece of metal that just needed some love and care to bring it back to life. The guys got to work right away with a pressure washer. They blasted down all of the dirt and grime that had accumulated over the years and revealed a pretty good-looking surface underneath. Once that was done, they taped off the seams and the edges of the container where the different pieces of metal met to prevent any leaks later on. Then they applied a special liquid that would prevent rust from forming on the bare metal. That way, even if moisture made its way onto the container in the future, it wouldn't start to rust right away. While that was drying, they set up a scaffolding on the inside of the container so that they could easily reach the roof and install the new windows and doors. They also used the scaffolding as a place to store all of their tools and materials as they worked. Next up was cutting out the roof to allow for proper ventilation. This would allow air to flow in and out of the container and help keep it cool during the hot summer months. And now, they started working on the exterior of the container. First, they installed a strong steel frame for the window and door that they would be adding later on. Then, they started attaching 2x4-inch wooden frames to the container. These frames would serve as the base for the entire structure, providing support for the flooring, walls, and roof. They also drilled holes through the frames and into the container so that they could attach them securely together. Then they began filling in the gaps between the wooden frames with foam insulation. This would help keep the container cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Once the insulation was in place, they covered it with a vapor barrier to prevent moisture from getting trapped inside the walls. Next up was installing the subfloor. The subfloor would provide a solid surface for the final flooring material, making it easier to walk on and reducing noise. To do this, they cut down some plywood boards and secured them to the wooden frames with nails. Now it was time to add the tongue and groove floorboards. These floorboards are designed to fit together without any nails or glue, making installation much easier. The tongue and groove feature helps create a tight seal between each board, which improves the overall durability of the floor. Each board had to be cut to the exact length of the container, but the result was worth it. The finished floor looked great, and it was ready to be stained and sealed. The next step was adding windows and doors. The container was given 3 large windows and 1 full-length sliding glass door. The windows let in lots of natural light, and the sliding glass door gave access to a small deck outside. Once the windows and doors were installed, it was time to finish the exterior of the container. They attached corrugated metal sheets to the wooden frames, giving the container a sleek new look. Inside, they started framing out the bathroom and the kitchen. This included installing studs and blocking to create the necessary walls and spaces for the appliances and fixtures. They also added insulation to these new walls to maintain the temperature inside the container. Next, they installed the tongue and groove wall panels. These panels were stained and sealed to match the floor, creating a cohesive look throughout the interior. It was time to add the staircase. This L-shaped staircase was custom built to fit the unique layout of the container, leading from the front door to the loft bedroom. They continued finishing out the interior by installing the kitchen cabinets and countertops. The kitchen was designed to be functional yet minimal, with plenty of storage space for a small living space. And speaking of small, check out this awesome mini fridge. How cute is it? Definitely big enough for all your beverages and snacks. Next, they added a small stovetop and an exhaust fan above it. This would allow the residents to cook meals inside the container without worrying about carbon monoxide poisoning. And how cool is this round sink? It's definitely a conversation starter. They also added a faucet and a small dish drying rack to complete the kitchen. In the bathroom, they installed the shower stall and the toilet. The shower is small but mighty, with a sleek, handheld shower head and a glass door. The toilet is a composting toilet, which is a great option for a small living space like this. Next, they finished out the loft bedroom. The bed is a full size, and there's plenty of room for storage underneath it. They also added a skylight to let in natural light and add ambience to the space. Finally, it was time to add the finishing touches. This included painting the walls, adding curtains and blinds, and furnishing the space with a couch and a TV. The couch is a pull-out double bed, so it provides extra sleeping space for guests. The TV is mounted on the wall to save space, and the overall effect is amazing. The container has been transformed into a modern and stylish home that is both functional and beautiful. The use of natural materials such as wood and stone gives the space a warm and inviting feel. While the large windows and skylights provide plenty of natural light and ventilation, Container Home is located on a property that features lush gardens and stunning views of the surrounding nature. The residents can enjoy the tranquility of their surroundings from the comfort of their own home. Whether they're relaxing on the deck or cozying up on the couch with a good book, overall, the Container Home is a testament to the possibilities of sustainable and innovative design. It shows that with a little creativity and ingenuity, you can transform an ordinary shipping container into an extraordinary home. And remember, you don't have to spend a fortune to create a beautiful and functional living space. With some DIY skills and a lot of heart, you can create a place that is uniquely yours. Thanks for joining us on this amazing transformation journey. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below to stay up to date on all our latest projects. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up for more inspiring content. And if you have a project of your own to share, tag us so we can check them out. Until next time, happy treasure hunting. While you enjoy this content, we know you'll love our podcast too. Just search for From Trash to Treasure on your favorite podcast player. In the meantime, here are 2 other videos we know you'll love.